Welcome everybody to the TPP Peasant Podcast. I hope you're having an absolutely lovely day. We are rolling here with...
Don't be all nervous, Blackheart. You got this.
Our special guest,
I'm not nervous. I just
the
wish I had a
streamer.
hacksaw so I could make this shotgun a little bit more close rangey, you know.
And that Bob guy from Fresh Dayz. We're with our co-host, Smileysgotagun.
Take Bob's head off here.
And ADKCue. We are holding our podcast today at the legendary Green Mountain.
Completely invisible.
Here up at the military base. We've got
I
our
walked
halftime
up
show,
and
of course, to rock
I
on.
can't tell the difference.
But of course, if you'd like to, get involved into the conversation.
Yep, that's it.
As we dive in.
We were playing Unofficial the other day and I was wearing fluorescent green, fluorescent yellow, all this sort of stuff.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Players, tracked them and...
How you going? I hope you're having a lovely day. Ooh, I hope they can hear me.
Very well, thanks,
yes.
sir.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
I'm amazing.
You're amazing. Feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling
great.
We always like to wake people up early in the morning or keep them up at late at night. That's what the podcast is about. Trying to traumatise your life. Today we've got, I think Blackheart's in the military outfit.
Yep. He is.
No.
Mike's muted again.
Mike's muted again. And that Bob guy from Fresh Dayz, looking pretty in his dress. Very nice.
Yep.
That's definitely the combination that I like to see on the podcast. We've got our co-host, Smileysgotagun, and ADKCue.
Yep, morning.
Wait, where's Q going?
Always a pleasure to be
Morning.
here.
It is a pleasure.
Good morning.
To be here.
Alrighty.
At least I wasn't the only one.
That's it. Well, you know,
Yeah.
it's a Saturday night. You got to get a little dusty. That's the best part about it. All right,
Yeah,
so
a little furry.
a little furry. It's all right. We'll be right by the end of it. By the end of it, you'll be ready to go and pass out.
I know I'm amongst friends here, so we good.
We good. Alrighty, we'll kick off with our one-on-ones. Mr. Blackheart, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much.
Would like to know, when did you start playing the game of Dayz on console?
Oh, man, honestly, I played it a long time ago. Sorry, the dogs in the background are going nuts. But, no, I played it from probably when it was released on Dayz.
Oh, so right at the beginning when it rolled out on preview?
These dogs.
The dogs only bark when you want to speak. They never do it when it's
yeah.
quiet.
Yeah, that's what it seems. It's always like that, right?
Yeah, I've got a pair of them myself, I understand. All right.
They're nuts. Some of them are crazy. But no, yeah, I started at launch. Like, I seen it on, like, launch for Game Pass is what I would assume. I can't remember if I actually full-on bought it, but I remember I used to watch streamers play it all the time. And I was like, dude, what game is that? And I could never get a response, so I started looking it up, and then I finally figured it out. And when I figured it out, I seen it on Game Pass. Downloaded it, played it for probably, I would say, 2-3 hours, and all I did was just die. So I uninstalled it, to be honest. Like, completely uninstalled it and started watching videos on YouTube just to find out how to live, how to survive, how to find food, what's a good source of food. And then, I don't know, I reinstalled it once I felt like I knew enough, and then it was a lot better of a game knowing the things that I learned through those videos.
Yeah, it's definitely a process of jumping straight into it and sort of trying to figure out what's going on. So what did you find appealing about the game?
The aspect behind you could get shot from anywhere and it could be a one-shot kill and you have no idea where it came from. Sniping is what appeals me to the game.
Yep, just walking
Honestly,
along and all of a sudden, red screen, and you got no idea.
Yeah. You had no idea where it came from. You didn't hear the shot. You didn't see the gunman. You didn't nothing. Just dropped over dead. Red screen, instant.
It's definitely one of the aspects of the game which makes it very unique. One of the parts that I love myself. How much time do you invest a week into the game?
Well, I play it probably out of a week. There's a lot of hours in a week, and I probably play it majority of the time that I'm not working in IRL. So it's probably 30 hours, 40 hours, probably. Like I've got a lot of hours in this game, a lot.
Yeah, nice. Thoroughly addicted.
Yeah, it's hashtag addicted to Daisy for sure.
Hashtag addicted to Dayz, 100%. Well, welcome to the podcast. Glad you could make it.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Our second guest is that Bob guy. He's representing Fresh Dayz service. They've got a brand out. They've got multiple servers running at the moment. Fresh Dayz is obviously taken off completely with their full map, and they've also got a couple of death matches. That Bob guy, welcome.
G'day, mate.
Um, so, Bob, when did you start playing Dayz?
Couldn't give you an exact time, but it was. It'd have to be damn near close to the preview days when it was a game preview.
Yep.
My mates begged and begged and begged me to join it. I'd seen gameplay on it before, but it just never struck me as a game that would interest me. But then being my mates, I caved and finally got it. Rest is history, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
It was a long run since then, but I've
Right,
grown to
so
love the game and
been
play it
dragged
all the
into
time.
been dragged into it by your mates, and now you're
I-
stuck here.
I got dragged into it. I remember my first night, I spawned in and it was dark, and they had asked me, what's around. Like, it was a little community server that we were playing on. They asked me where's my location, and I told them yes, because I didn't know. We finally worked out where I was, and they're like, oh yeah, you're close to the base. It took them 3 hours to get to me. I don't know what close is to them. We walked home at night time, so that was scary, and I remember sitting at base, they wouldn't let me do anything, wouldn't let me touch a gun. I sat there in the corner for 3 hours, and finally they gave me a gun, told me never to use it. And I got bored, so I went out and started shooting into the darkness, and then we got raided. So it wasn't a good start to the game, but
Oh, so
yeah.
you're that bloke. You're that new bloke.
I was told I wasn't allowed to use the gun, and they gave me 2 bullets, and I was sick and tired of sitting there doing nothing, so I snuck out, shot a few shots into the darkness, scared everyone, because they thought they were getting shot at, and then, yeah, 10 minutes later, we started actually getting shot at.
Getting raided. Oh, classic story. So what did you find appealing at that point about the game?
At that point, nothing. I hated it. However, many, many weeks later, when they actually started teaching me how to play as opposed to sitting me in the corner with my hands tied, I actually started enjoying mostly the base building element of it. I loved building, like building up a little compound, setting your tents up, getting all your loot in there. I loved exploring, and the biggest one, most of all, after I joined, it wasn't called Fresh Dayz servers back then, but when I joined Grandpa's server, I loved meeting everyone. Everyone was so friendly, and everyone had a funny story.
Yep.
I joined a radio show. Yeah. I just love the community.
Yeah, it's definitely a different game altogether when it comes to community aspect.
Oh yeah.
So the big question is how much time do you invest in a week in the game?
Not as much as I used to, but I definitely try to get on every couple of days.
Yep.
Once upon a time, me and Grandpa would get on every single day without fail.
And just roll and roll. And obviously life takes over.
Yep. Running over and driving around, just shooting the shit, sitting by a campfire like we are now.
It has that little appeal to it, the game, about just chilling next to the campfire, chatting with people,
Yep.
finding out about what's going on the other side of the world.
That's it.
Well, Bob, welcome to the podcast. I'm glad you could make it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we have our little podcast co-hosts. You guys going all right? Yeah.
That.
Just chilling next to the fire. that was perfect RP. Perfect RP. Just little nods. Little nods. All right.
No, we good, boss.
We good?
We good.
That's what I
Very
want.
good.
That's what
Pretty
we
good
want to
week.
hear. All right, we're going to kick straight into the about the game. Now, base building subject gets brought up quite often, and how it should be expanded into something bigger, maybe even something more like the mods in PC Dayz. I'd like to ask the panel, what would you like to see added to help make bases, I suppose, more worth it, more secure, maybe even more easier to build? We'll ask our guests, since Bob has a fascination with base building. What do you reckon, Bob?
I know Grandpa, if he was here, he would say he would love all the stuff, like the mods that the PC has. But back to when I first started in the Fresh Dayz server and I was a little nobody, I can remember my first suggestion in the suggestions chat, and keep in mind, I didn't know what was possible and what wasn't possible in terms of mods. I asked him to add the Australian flag to the server so I could make an Australian embassy, and that's all I've ever wanted since.
Ooh.
Just the Australian flag.
Yeah, and actual legitimate flags of other nations, so you can represent your
Yeah,
country
if they
while
had a
you're in
pack of-
Dayz.
Absolutely, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what the copyright standards would be, but that'd be a pretty fantastic idea. It'd definitely it'd definitely incite more competition when it comes to faction versus faction. I'm sure it would. There would be some.
Definitely.
Yeah, it definitely would be some sort of. You could see the conflict between maybe a racial or a country-wise getting a little too hectic, but I mean, Aussies themselves, we'd be flexing our flag all over the place. We'd be throwing
100%.
beers at
Throwing rocks at
you.
any New Zealand.
Yeah, that's it.
Throwing rocks at the New Zealanders.
We'd be fighting our own kind.
Yeah.
That's it. We'll be fighting our own kind. We'll be finding out if
We love
you're,
you guys.
you're New South Wales or Queenslander or Victorian, and then be segregated into smaller factions. That's how nutty we are. But that's actually a very good idea, and I can't see why they haven't done it.
Oh yeah, I begged Grandpa for ages until he told me it wasn't actually possible.
I think it could be done in PC, because I know myself. I've got my own flag in PC with my emblem on it, so it could be done on the mods on PC. But definitely, that's an easy solution to add in 50 to 100 different flag types into the game instantaneously.
Yeah. But yeah, I see where you're coming from too. It could cause some conflicts.
It's always going to have that good and bad, isn't it? It's a happy
Yeah.
medium where everyone, if you're going to represent your country, then you may have that bad outturn. You might have trolls doing stuff, either using the Russian or the Ukraine flag now to incite whatever you want. But
Yeah.
but for the purest form of it, of just representing your own country and being able to put your own flag up there, I think it's worth it to have it in there. Definitely. What about you, Blackheart? Anything you want to see added into base building?
Honestly, this is the only thing that I think that would even make sense to make Dayz a little bit more to build. Because me personally, I'm not a big fan of the building because it's too easy to spot someone's base. So, like me, if I'm gonna build, I'm gonna be the person that's gonna be in the woods with a whole bunch of stick shelters, hidden. You know, camo nets on tents, stuff like that. That's me. if I build.
Yeah.
But if I had to see something that would interest me and strike my attention for me to build something, it'd be doors. I would love to see different types of doors, like vault doors, stuff like that, that would take a lot more than just 10 grenades to blow it up. You know? Something that's more stylish than a swinging gate.
Yep. So
Keypads, things like that. You
the
know?
graphical wise, it needs to look a bit more authentic than a 1850s fort.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like the building, I've seen some pretty cool bases. It's pretty wicked, the ideas, but like to me, it would make more sense if there was, instead of me placing a gate here, I could destroy this door or place a door over top of this one door. That way it's a lot more hidden versus, hey, I can see the post through this building.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. You should be able to map out at least some of the housing and stuff like that, and have, being able to replace the doors or reinforce the doors and reinforce the windows, just to secure one little house, so it's a lot easier. So
And it blends in way better.
yeah, 100%, because you want to stay hidden, and sometimes hiding in plain sight can be the way to, I suppose, avoid detection. Sometimes when it's just a small little apartment room or a little house at the back of nowhere, definitely the way to go. Um, so on the way,
Yeah, I like Lemon's suggestion about
what,
fortifying
selling your
existing
soul?
buildings. Yeah. No, already done.
Already
Sorry.
already got it. But yeah, scrap and
Sorry,
base
God.
building for implementing like fortification system where players can reinforce already
Yeah,
existing
yeah.
buildings within range. Dumbgrass got a mod out like that, a fortification mods where you can just get in and it looks so much better. It looks so much cleaner, and it looks so much, I suppose, more authentic. I think, especially the
I'd love
ones
for
that
them
I've
to
seen. Yeah, go.
finally get rid of stupid dial locks. I think, yeah,
Yeah.
nothing worse than a dial lock. Especially if you've got a decent sized base and you've got anything more than 4 doors, it takes you bloody 10, 15 minutes just to get into your base. It's getting a bit old.
Yeah, I definitely agree that. I understand where they're coming from with the game, and they want it to be, generic Bob who has no skills whatsoever, has embedded logs and planks onto a wall and then puts a bike lock around it. So I can understand where they're coming from there, but I do think that's a code lock, especially for that easy access, or as Blackheart said, maybe it goes from wooden structures to the ability to upgrade it into fortifications, to then change your code lock into or your your bike lock into an actual keypad lock. Maybe that's what it needs to roll through. Bit of like Rust has when you can upgrade your structures.
That'd be good.
Yeah, like have it register to the player, like to the player itself, like the gamer tag itself.
Yeah.
Person that builds it can access it, and then maybe have it where like you hit X or go in vicinity, you can access it and give other people access to do it, or like a key card that you could have. You could go find multiple key cards. Now you can use this door or this keypad. Make it where you have to do something like that, but it's a lot better than having to spin a 4-dial code, especially if you make a smart code.
Would you even use a padlock and key? So you had to have the key on you to be able to access it on the in and out would that weigh it up for the fact of you're outside with your key, gets killed, and all of a sudden someone's got keys to your actual base?
It would certainly make it interesting.
It would, yeah. It'd make you for sure hide your keys when you go outside your base, but it would be a lot better than standing out there spinning a 4-dial, I think.
Put it under a rock.
That's it. Got it.
Yeah,
Got
like,
it.
put it in a crate or a sea chest and bury it, you know?
That's it. Got one of those old school keystones. Just slide it underneath and put it in the
Yep.
rest of the garden.
It's under the doormat.
But quick access into your base is sometimes vital, especially when you may be under a raid, you've been killed, or you're trying to get back into your base, and you've got someone on the other side of the lock trying to spin this lock while bullets are flying at them because they can see them pull this lock, and then you've got to try and sneak in with this door that opens up as wide as, and it exposes everything inside, and then you've got to try and close it. A smaller access point and a quicker way to access it would definitely be a lot more handier. I think more valuable inside the game itself. Alright, so they recently found van wheels and bus wheels in the code on the recent update. The ability to be able to port them in, but you can't actually get them or do anything with them. I think the game is ready for another vehicle, or do you think they need to concentrate on other areas? What's your thoughts on that? We'll start with Bob.
I had some pretty choice words about the Humvee when it first came out. As cool as it was, it just didn't work on release. You get stuck in gears and it'd just sit there not doing anything. It'd stall out and it was awful. If they could do it right, a bus or a van would be awesome. I'm always welcome to a new vehicle, but they've got to do it right. Like, no shortcuts and none of that, oh, well, it doesn't work, we'll get it fixed within the next 2 weeks. Like, if it needs to work on release. They need to test it properly. That would be my only thing. But I'd be up for a new vehicle. But
I definitely think you're right when it comes to the bit needs to be a bit more. I don't know if it's groundwork testing. I don't know if they need to segregate 3 or 4 servers from the main cull, pull them aside, make it private, have like a testing program for, maybe owners that sign up to Nitrado, and you could go through and, test the mods out for them. Because I think we do I don't know if we do a thorough job or. Yeah, I've struggled with solution to be able to understand why every update we now think, oh well, it's just got to wait for hotfix 2 and it'll be sweet. It's the norm.
Yeah, it certainly has become normal. I've always said to Grandpa, it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. They'll add something, but something will get broken along the way, and you'll have to wait for it to get fixed. But, like you said, it's become normal. You sort of come to expect it.
Which is not good. I suppose that's the rap that Dayz gets. What about you, Blackhearted? Is the game ready for a new vehicle?
I kind of agree with Bob. I think that if they're going to bring something into the game, that they should focus on something less than a van. Like, unless... The only other thing I would really say about a vehicle is, like, if you were going to give us a vehicle and a new vehicle, give us the access to be able to hold and mess with our inventory, hold our guns, stuff like that. Like, I don't understand why they won't do that versus trying to add 2 cars in that's probably going to break something else along the road. Like the Humvees, I wanted, and I was super excited for the Humvee. Super excited. Like, wanted to go test it and everything. First time I hopped in one, I died. 2 feet from where the car was because it was a glitch. Like drove down the road, driving very slowly. My character just leaned forward, dead, red screen. Wasn't shot on a PvE server. Wasn't crashing. Just nothing to hit. Character
Just
dead.
had a
So,
heart attack.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of the vehicles in the Daisy in general. So I, I think I'd rather see 4 more guns than I would see a new van or a bus. To
Yeah,
be honest.
nice. Yeah, well, it's definitely a lot of the feeling that people roll with. Obviously, with the guns working and stuff like that, there's never been really a problem with a gun, whereas cars we've had continuous problems. Um, Go-
Uh,
Goblin also suggests that like different models of the cars that we already have, different paint jobs, um,
That'll
like
be alright.
having the ADA like full camo, maybe some different color variants in the cars. But I didn't know that Conquest had early access to the Humvees before experimental. It just shows you how popular a server can get and how much influence it can have.
yeah, I didn't know that neither. That's pretty cool. I know
Yeah,
that if they wanted us to test the Hummer, they should have gave us a lot more access to it in Daisy Experimental. Like, we played the crap out of Experimental, like when the Humvee was coming out. And I mean, like, we as in Grandpa, Bob played, me, a few other people played, and like more than a few. It was probably 10 of us that played that server. And every time we found a Humvee, it was in pieces. Like, if you're going to want us to test it, then give us the ability to test it. Spawn it in completely built and let us go in and have a heyday with it. That's the only way you're going to really test it.
yeah, and line the coast with them. If it's experimental, don't try and
Yeah.
run it like the game is. Dump whatever it is you want to test on the coast in the same spawn points and just let the people go crazy.
Yeah, it makes more sense. I don't understand why experimental. They make some things really hard to find.
Yeah, you got to venture
Like the Humvee,
throughout the
anytime we
game.
ever found it, it was busted. Like, it was bad.
I know an experimental. If you want to find a Humvee, you just had to fucking hunt the edge of the map. 'Cause there were always people just stashing them on the edges of the map.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's
we
the
never found any when
yeah,
we
well,
looked.
that's the other thing, isn't it? People just grabbing them and putting them on the coast or putting them deep off the map. Especially when they came out, because I believe when they came out, they still had the tire situation where the tires wouldn't be destroyed. So that particular case, you could actually drive off the map as far as you could. So you can imagine how many cars are just sitting out there, chilling, doing nothing, never to be destroyed. It's always the game that surprises me like that. But yes, it's definitely one of those things that we hope to see. More vehicles, more variety. I'd like to see the bus and a van and the ability to be able to cart, 10 people around. But yeah, is the game ready for it? Only if they've tidied it up a little, I think.
Yeah, it would
Uh,
just get sucked into the ground.
yeah, well, currently we usually can't get our own selves around without it being torched into the ground, so I definitely understand that one. All right, we're going to move on to questions with Mr. Q. Every week we let our co-hosts have their own opinion and question and ask the panel something about Dayz. We never like to inform our guests what it is because it's always a quality surprise.
Righto.
All right. So last week I touched on burnout, this week it's a little bit similar. So, if if Daisy wasn't around, what game would you play that you'd think would be similar to Daisy?
Similar to Daisy.
Yeah, like
I played a little bit of Rust back in the day, but it just didn't catch me. I much prefer Daisy over that, so maybe I'd give that another chance.
Uh, Mine would probably be State of Decay
ah,
because
yep.
I liked the aspect of when your character died, it was dead. You didn't get it back. So you'd get emotional attachment with your characters, and you would rage if one of them died.
I like that. So that the whole still one life. Nice.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Also, for the aspect of the style of gaming. On one hand, you've got State of Decay, which is a survival, zombie apocalypse game where the idea is to, build yourself up and keep yourself survived. Where Rust is that more, that raiding, that faction, that the warring, that sort of side of it.
More PvP heavy.
And it's funny how one game can combine those two into one, and we all get that little piece out of it.
Yeah. So it's, for me, I'd struggle to find a game similar because it's more the interaction that I enjoy with Daisy rather than the raiding or the PvP or even the survival. I think more the interaction is what's taking me these days.
Yeah, what game would you be playing if you weren't hooked on this one, Mr. Q?
Oh, that's a hard one. To be honest, probably 7 Days to Die.
Yep.
That was a good game. I played the
Yeah.
crap out of that before I played Daisy.
We're
So,
getting a console's getting an update for 7 Days to Die this year, finally.
really?
No, not after 4 years.
Oh,
Yep.
That's the reason I got onto Dayz. Actually, me and the missus used to play 7 Days to Die religiously. What I used to call an adult version of Minecraft. But the bugs in that where your forge would delete the block and you'd lose everything, or the game would crash and you'd lose most of your build is what drove me away from it. Yeah, definitely. What about you, Smiley? Where would you be if Dayz wasn't around? Might be on mute. Oh, so just check a temperature for us.
Can you hear me
She's
now?
Now we
alive.
can.
I've confirmed she's alive.
Definitely, Triple would definitely
I've
check
been
out
talking this
Scum.
been talking this whole time. Mike must. Oh, I did have to unplug it there for a sec because it was all twisted and stuff. No, I was just State of said like what I thought I was that you could hear me. State of Decay. That's the one I played actually first. I was totally addicted to that game, and then that actually led me on to Dayz. Funny enough, because I wanted to play another sort of zombie game. But if I wasn't playing Dayz, I'd actually probably just have a life. I'd go outside and, be social. Nah, I'm like a Q. So I like the interaction part and stuff. Although I do have I do have my moments where I like to just run off and do my own like quiet little thing and play on my own, play by myself. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's a tricky one. Yeah, probably go back to probably State of Decay. I really got into that. I love it. Oh, actually, Fallout 76. I really like Fallout 76. I haven't been back on there for a while, but I've been thinking about it lately. Mind having a little poke on there. It's very similar to sort of Dayz in the way that you can interact. And just talking about sweet builds, with bases and shit. Holy shit, the bases you can build on there, so good. Um, yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's my answer, boss.
that's
Yeah,
it's amazing how much aspects people take out of that you can see in DayZ in the games that they would play, and how much it just combines it all together. If they got it all right, I don't think you'd be back to any other game. Funny enough, they had the cars down like PUBG, the base building like as you see in Fallout 76.
oh yeah. The
You know,
cars on PUBG, if they had vehicles like that in here, oh, it'd be so good, so good. Just like even just the quads, banging around on the quads would be just amazing, so good.
I'd be on the kill feed too much.
Now they run so smooth. They run so smooth on PUBG. They're beautiful.
Yeah, but when I'm in PUBG, I tend to jump them, off the top of the
Uh,
hill. So yeah, I
yeah,
end
yeah.
up
and you got
on
to
the
do
kill
that
feed a
second.
lot for launching it off of stuff.
Yeah, you got to do that
There's
second
some sick jumps
backflip.
on there, hey, too.
Yeah, you got to do that second backflip.
Yeah.
You can't chicken out from it.
No, no chickening
Yeah.
out. You gotta try it.
Yeah. Once you're in, you're in.
Once you're in, you're in.
Once you're to the top,
Yeah, you gotta
better
commit to
not
that
hit the
jump.
brake.
Commit to it. Alrighty. Well,
I've been telling Grandpa for a while I want a ramp in the server.
an actual jump. Well, from what I hear there's the legendary Downhill 2's coming out, which I'm super excited for. That will be a server that will be absolute nuts if it's anything like the first one. Pure cars, pure jumping, pure craziness. Yeah, very nice. All right, appreciate
Had
your
some
cue.
good times on there, didn't we? Holy
Yeah, downhill one, massive jumps. I used to get on there
Yeah.
by myself and just, I probably smashed 1,000 cars at least. That's where I got my sweet driving skills from.
Yeah.
For all those who know I'm famous for doing it. Yeah, see, new ramp hits 180 kilometers per hour in neutral. His little chute.
Oh, god damn.
Yeah.
Christ.
So you could, it's
Oh,
built.
I can't wait for all of us to get on there.
Yeah, it's built basically to jump cars. You had the Serpent last time, which was one that went from the ski resort down to Northwestern Airfield, and it was like 4 or 5 consistent jumps, and you had to time it. If you didn't get the right speed, you wouldn't make it down to the last one. So it was hours and hours of fun. That's a plug for you to hurry up, Goblin, and get the shit up. But cheers for that, Q. We're going to move on to community servers, coding Discord and bots. So recent reports from official servers have been that there's been an increase in dupe bases and geared, heavily armed players killing freshies on the coast due to dupers getting involved and absolutely taking over. Is it a good thing for community servers who have more control over the situation? Or do you think it's a bad thing for the game?
Certainly more ways to monitor it in a community server and deal with it if it does become an issue. I can't think of it happening on our server as of yet, and I hope it doesn't because nobody likes a duper. But yeah, I suppose it's easier to monitor on a community server. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%. What's your thoughts on it, Blackheart?
My thoughts on the whole duping scenario is like they should all be killed. They should all be killed.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But like,
We're talking
in a
players
lighter-
here. We're talking
lighter way
players,
to
not
say it,
people.
Yeah. Yeah, players, not people. But no, it's my opinion on it is like if we have the access and the ability to ban someone per server as a community admin or community owner, anything like that, why is DayZ not monitoring it as much as we do? Like if we want our server to succeed, then we monitor it like 24/7. So why do they not want the game to be the way they want it to and succeed and not monitor it at all?
There you go,
Like,
princess.
if we can ban someone from a community server, why can't they ban someone from an official?
Yeah, true. Very true. That's definitely a good point. Um, but also, I think the counter for that would be is with how many servers they have, they would basically have to throw on a full administrative team to be able to monitor that. Where, even Fresh Dayz's got a couple of admins plus Grandpa himself, and it's a busy time and a lot of work, so I can imagine that would be one of the ways that they could possibly do it. But as Project Lemon says, Daisy uses BattleEye on the official servers, and I know they use that on PC. But a Daisy IP ban,
Battleline's terrible.
yeah, I think a Daisy IP ban maybe a little too strong.
You just report them on Xbox. You just report them on Xbox. That's the thing, and Xbox just bans them.
Well, I mean, another scenario that they could do to prevent it is like, so dupers have to constantly log in and out. I feel like there should still be a way that you could find that out, like, so for instance, if their character logs in and out more than 2 or 3 times, or 4 times in a row within the last 5 minutes, that's a sign that someone's duping. And then if that case, then at some point they should just log in and be a freshie completely spawned in a different area.
Could be a good way to combat it, yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe you get maybe after logging in and out or a connection issue once or twice, your timer then goes up to say half an hour or an hour. And every time that sort of situation occurs where you've been logged as in, oh, you've had connection issues, or what we see as connection issues, but what we know as duping, you then get an extended login time and log out time for, maybe a week, maybe a permanent.
Yeah, that'd be
Like,
good.
that'd be a really good combat for it, like a real good way to prevent it, I think. Like, nobody would want to do it if you had to wait an hour to get back into the servers.
Yeah, if
Make it
you
where
got
it's all officials, yep.
if you got caught for it, or you started having. I know it's understandable that connection issues and stuff like that. You may have a glitch that you can't get rid of. You're trying to get your mic going, but maybe they could also have a reporting system of when you log out. When the countdown's happening, you could say, is this because of an issue? You could just click yes and state what issue it is, and then they would come and monitor it. But it's one of those things where you could give everything, all the powers in the world, but it'd still be used, I suppose, in not the right way.
Oh, it's Seth. You're doing great, Seth.
That's it. Hey, Seth, welcome
You're
for
so awesome.
big raid there. Kane Voorhees jumped in with another raid. We just had a massive hype train. We'll run through everybody at the end.
We love you, Seth.
That's it. And we call him Hugh. His name's not Seth, it's Hugh.
It's you.
Alrighty.
GG, Seth.
So Console Daisy is run mainly from Discord bots, which add currency and kill feeds to the server. If you had the skills to do what you wanted to and add what you wanted to, what do you think you would add that would make either life easier, make the Discord a bit more exciting, a feature that may be incorporated? Is there anything that you've wanted to, I suppose, implemented but not being able to do it?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't have the knowledge to know what's possible through Discord bots.
Possibility is your imagination.
Okay.
And,
Alright, well,
and I have found that a lot of things that people go, hey, I'd like to see this, gets a lot of the coders' minds tinkering, and then they start working on it. So even if it's
Yeah.
not been done yet, or you think it's far fetched, definitely lay it out in the tables.
well, I know something that's been a problem for me in the past is getting around the map to do trader orders and stuff like that. Because I, for my own personal circumstances, can't have alts because I've got the game sharing thing with my father, and I'm not prepared to cancel that. So I would have to buy Dayz for every single one of my alts, and I'm not going to do that. So getting around the map, like killing yourself and spawning somewhere else and not getting the right spawn, I'm horribly, horribly unlucky for getting the same spawn over and over and over and over again. I'd love to be able to choose your spawn.
Yep.
Within reason, like on a community server that it doesn't matter on. I'd love to be able to choose your spawn so you don't have to worry about spending 45 minutes trying to find an axe, taking it back to the spawn, and then killing yourself 87 times. Like, I've got screenshots of, like, bodies piled up from me just trying to get the right spawn.
No, I have the same luck with... it frustrates me to all end when, you're trying to meet up with somebody, you're on a multi-spawn locations, and you just can't get that right spawn. I ended up just getting the closest. If I'm an hour away from you, I'm close enough. That's me done and dusted, because it just drives me up the wall. Because like you, I ended up with a body full of it. Piles and piles at the one kill point.
Well, I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? Like, when you watch the intro for Dayz, that's the thing. You're washing up on shore. You don't know where the fuck you are. You know what I mean? And when you watch the intro for the game, that's the point, isn't it? That
you shouldn't be able to pick.
Absolutely.
That's why you start. But Fallout 76, they do have what's called fast travel. So you can bounce around the map depending on they use caps as like in-game currency. If you got some caps, you can just throw that down and pay your way across the other side of the map.
But in an admin sense, that's to be able to segregate one GT to be able to sit, bounce around the map and do what you need to do to be able to see the mods. Check mods are working. Check that it's built right. Those sorts of things. But in the same case, there's that, I suppose, admin abuse shadow, or if a player gets hold of its shadow, the implications of that could be, absolutely disastrous. But that's definitely something that I'd like to see in the game, because I know myself when I'm trying to test stuff, you have to, load yourself in the car, or you have to try and spawn yourself in, and I always seem to make a mistake in the player spawn file, and I end up in the far south corner of the map, and I've got to swim 25 minutes into the shore to kill myself, and it drives me up the wall. If I could just not touch it and just go pink into Discord, it'd be beautiful. Yep. It drives me up the absolute wall. What about you, Blackhearted? I know you're more of a streamer type. Is there anything, maybe not in the Dayz server category, but maybe in the streamer category, that you'd like to see implemented on Discord? I know you've got your punk-hearted community going now, a few streamers in there, a little community building itself. Is there anything you'd like to see added to Discord or the ability to get onto Discord?
Phew. I'd like to be able to see like a bot that you could link with your Xbox that could put my chat on my TV screen. So that way I don't have to combo it.
Yep, so you could see
You can do that.
your Discord chat or your
Like stream chat, like be able to link the stream with the Discord, and like you know how the stream cord bot is, right? You know,
Yep.
you link it with the Discord and then it tells everyone when you go online. I like that. But it would be awesome if I could link the Twitch like that to the Discord, so that way I can have it linked to the Xbox and I can see my chat on my TV. Like have it set up to where it's in a corner somewhere versus, you know, like I'm not a PC, I console stream, I even stream through the console itself, like, so,
yeah, similar to what
You
PlayStation does. See, PlayStation
can
when you
do that.
stream, they have their chat running down the side.
yeah. But I haven't been able to figure out any of that to figure a way to do it, and it'd be kind of nice if it could link through the Discord, make it where it does the specific things for me.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Like,
idea.
I don't know.
Having the
It's-
controls directly from Discord to be able to modify
Stream.
your stream on the fly, or even have admins or people controlling it from the Discord itself.
Because sometimes I notice that the Twitch app itself bugs out a lot. It seems to me, at least. Like sometimes my chat just won't appear. Sometimes it tells people that they can't chat. So if they could link it in a Discord, watch it from the Discord, everything like that, and be able to chat from the Discord along with the Twitch, and it pop up in the Twitch, like on my screen, I think it would be a pleasant way, a pleasant bot that would be unique.
No, that would be cool.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, he's talking
Yeah,
like
right, so
like your
that
viewers
they-
could check you out from Discord
Yeah.
itself.
From Discord. Yeah, there might be a way to do that, because you can stream via Discord. I might have a little peek in that and see, because there are a few people that have tried it that I've seen about streaming via Discord instead of Twitch or YouTube or something like that. People do it via TikTok as well. They'll be streaming, on Twitch and TikTok at the same time. There's a little bit of a workaround that you can sort of do that and get away with it. So there might actually be a way to do that. I don't know about actually seeing the chat. You might have to, have the two open. You might have to have, like, say, Discord open up on your phone, the other one opened up on a laptop or something like that. But definitely might be able to stream through both.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that is very interesting. And I
Should
mean,
look into that, boss.
your community being on Discord itself, I mean, I know myself, my community's all on Discord. The ability to stream straight to there would be an absolute, legendary move.
Yeah, well, you can at the moment. You can stream straight to Discord, but I'm just wondering if you can stream Discord and Twitch at the same time, and there might actually be a way, peeps. Let's look into that. Let's put that on our to-do list.
That's the to-do list one. We'll have to investigate that one. And that's sometimes that's what it's about here in the podcast, is just trying to get those ideas inspired. The community sometimes takes hold of them and runs wild, and 3 weeks later we'll be streaming on Discord.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on to our co-host, Smiley. She's got some questions for us.
Yeah. I totally had these prepared all week, not
Yeah.
in the last 20 minutes before we started. No, actually, there is
20
one
minutes.
there is a question actually that I've been thinking about all week since Screw Loose was on last week. Screw Loose, he brought up about animations. One of them, which we brought up last night when we had our little run greet star, and oh, actually, you were AFK and you were sitting in the seat in front of me, and I turned to Ponce and I said, if only if I had a piece of wire, I could strangle him in his seat from behind right now, and that would actually be really, really great. So my question to these guys is, if you could create an animation in game, what would it be? What would its function be? Like, would it just be like a, a cutesy thing or a fun thing or a tactical thing? What sort of animation would you like to be added into the game?
I'd like you're talking about like the emotes or something.
Yeah, emotes. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it could be emotes
yes,
or
emotes.
something like, yeah, like as you said,
Or like this, like a
something you could do that you
like,
could action.
like something that you can do,
Ah.
an action,
A
an
hug.
in-game action,
What
an
about-
in-game action. Yeah, I
What
want a
about
hug.
doing emotes
I really
while
want a hug.
driving? I reckon that'd be okay. Like some like headbanging in the car would be cool. I reckon.
Nah, he's trying to drive by flipping people off. We all thought it.
You just want to imagine that car goes
That's
past
it.
you.
No,
There's
no.
an arm just hanging out the window.
That's it.
Flipping the bird.
That's where my thoughts went to, straight up. I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. Just
Yeah.
drive past, flip them the bird, keep them going. Maybe even yell some abuse.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Give him the fisty out the window.
That's it.
What about you, Blackheart? What one would you like? What animation or,
I would like to see team animations or like a gun flip or something like that. Something that you could just do for just like giggles, like pull
Yeah,
out
for
your
shits and
pistol and
giggles,
you can
yeah.
examine it, examine your weapons. Like see how dirty it is. Go to first person and look at it, like Call of Duty type. You can examine your weapon versus go into your inventory.
you want to make love to your weapon?
That's
Is
it.
that what you want?
Yes.
But not-
I felt it. I felt it in your words.
But that also is part of that creator side of it, being that one-on-one with your gun and being able to lace that into your streams and your TikToks and your what do you call it, those sorts of animations to keep just the look, being able to sit there and polish your gun, give it a wipe down, just for the overall, I suppose, emphasis on those clips.
Immersion. You just have that little bit of immersion.
That's the word I wanted, immersion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Immersion. Yeah,
Immersion.
like you're all, you're sitting in your base with your dudes. You're making a plan. You're all sitting around cleaning your guns. It's just part of any other little sort of action. Yeah, adds to the immersion for sure. But yeah, like you pointed out, yeah, I want to be able to hug people. Imagine that.
Hi, hug, hug time.
You go up and you hug them, but then you don't let go, and this Freshie's just stay there for ages. Please stop hugging me. No, I love you. I love you.
But Lemons brings up a good point. The ability to whistle, do the old two-finger whistle to create a bait or to stir zombies.
Ooh.
That would
Yeah,
be dope.
I like that. That would be very cool. That's a good one. But,
That would be pretty cool.
that'd be definitely cool. And I do have my second question as well. Wait, how many questions do I get to have today?
Hey, you're the co-host. Go for your life.
How,
You got a
How-
little.
how
You
much
got a
time do
little
I have?
segment.
Okay.
You got a little segment. You go for your life.
All right.
You might be here for hours, ladies and gentlemen.
Second question. Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Sit down. Let's have a story time. No, but one that I actually ask every week, because this is my fave. It's something that I love to sort of get people's sort of experience on, and that's that touching moment, that love moment that you find in game. So in all your years or moments of playing, there's that one moment that you've had in game that's always stuck with you, and it's affected you in some way. It's sort of made you go, oh, like maybe something nice someone said or did, or a moment that you've had with your buddies or a random, but it was just one of those like touching moments, a fond memory. Give me a fond memory. Take it
Man,
away, Bob.
I've had a few of them. Certainly a
Oh
few that
yeah,
come
there's
to
definitely.
mind. Um, I'd have to say maybe the first time I ever did my first event. Grandpa put me in charge of running an event of any kind. He just wanted something to happen on the server, and I put together a big paintball event. And for the weeks, like I'm talking weeks leading up to it, I was panicking, trying to make sure everything was ready for it, worried that no one would show up. I had to try and, being in an American server and I'm Australian, I had to make sure I was up at like 12 midnight to make sure I was there. It was a lot of work and a lot of stress to, potentially no one to show up. And half this, like, we filled that event server to the brim. Like, there was people everywhere. Everyone was having fun. The positive feedback I got back, like, and even just after the event was done, we sat there for hours just shooting the shit, having a good old time, just talking like we are now. It was great.
Oh, actually, yeah, that actually is a pretty awesome moment, man. Felt that, felt that deep inside me. I felt you deep inside. Hey, all right. What about you, Blackheart?
All right.
Oh, there's so many. There's way too many. But I'd have to say it was probably when I became a moderator. This is like, this is why when I punched him earlier, I said he deserved it. Well, I joined a server, one of their servers, I played PvP a lot, a lot. I've played PvP. Oh my God. Excuse me for that. But
We never
like,
would have guessed.
uh, but the issue is I started and I wanted something different. I was tired of pick up a gun, point, shoot, pick up a gun, point, shoot. All my interactions that I could tell you could possibly all be PvP scenarios, like so many different ones. But the one that sticks with me the most is when this guy told me, hey, let's have help with the same event he was just talking about. You know, like, hey, uh, to have an event, I helped set it up and everything like that. I was on my way to go do it. He said, hey, come over here to the server that I had played on, which is an Old West PvP, or not PvP, it was PvP roleplay type thing. And, I love that server. So I was like, yeah, I'll jump on. So I stopped what I was doing immediately, got on, he's like, hey, meet us at the safe zone, Starry. And I was like, well, how much time do I have? And he's like, not long at all. And I was like, all right, well, I'll be there in a second. You'll hear me on my way. And they didn't understand anything. So I suicided and got the spawn that I needed. And I said that I took the bullet train is what I called it. I took the bullet train to get the Starry Yar. Or no, not Starry Yar, Starry Sabora. Um, well, these guys were like, all right, make sure you go get looted. You're going to need it. And I'm like, okay, so I go get looted. The only weapon I can find in the whole town for some reason is a frying pan. Well, these guys take me right outside the safe zone, take me up into this little dirt road and everything, and they turn around and they look at me. It's him and Grandpa, and they look at me and they say, yeah, by the way, we didn't have nothing cool to show you. This is a robbery. And they point shotguns at me. And they tell me to take my pants off. So I was like, all right. I took my pants off. I pulled my frying pan out, and I said, well, one thing I do notice, I was like, I'm from a PvP aspect. I was like, if you're robbing me here, I'm not gonna let you have my pants without a fight. I was like, you have a double barrel and you have a pump action. Which one's getting this frying pan first? And I stuck up the dukes. And they put their guns away, and they're like, nah. So they drop a white armband down. They said, nah, we really wanted to know if you wanted this, and that's when I became a moderator. One of my favorite memories in the whole Dayz
Oh damn.
experience, and I
I
played a
planned that one
long
for a
time.
while.
Oh, I know, that's cool, man. That is a good, yeah, that's a good story. Thanks for sharing, guys. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we all have those moments in game, like like Bob said. There's, probably dozens, but there's always just that one that really sticks with us. Um, Actually, speaking of service, one last question, boss. If that's all right.
Yeah, far away.
Speaking of, like, because you mentioned earlier on you enjoyed PvP servers. Um, so when you guys first started playing like DayZ, what was your go-to server? What was it called? What type of server was it? And yeah, that's the
So, where'd you
Yeah, I
lose your
remember that.
virginity?
question. Yeah, yeah. The and I'm talking your first community. Sorry, not official, because we all sort of start out on official. What was your
Yeah, I was gonna
first
say
community
official
server?
raped
And
me.
it does all of us, man.
that's
It really does.
that's why we come back.
It hurts, but feels so fucking good at the same time, But anyway.
Well, the server that
So
I
first
started off
community.
on was called Hotel Something or other. And that was the server I absolutely hated. Well, I didn't hate the server, I just hated DayZ at that point. Like, there was nothing fun for it in there for me. But we didn't stay on that long because we built in a safe zone, and some guy decided he was going to raid us in the safe zone. And we kept, like, respawning. Like, we were online when it happened, and we kept respawning. And that was the exact moment I met Grandpa, too. He was on that server as well. Because we kept respawning and getting this spawn off on the coast, which wasn't the one we needed, and he was there handing us this knife over and over and over again. We just kept getting this knife off this old man, so we kept calling him Grandpa. Because when I first came across him, the person in my party that had first met him, like, yeah, oh, yeah, that's that Grandpa character I was telling you about. He'll help you. Just ask him for a knife and he'll give you one. So that was how I met Grandpa. But yeah, the server owners did nothing to help us. So we ended up looking for a new server, and that's when Grandpa turned around and made one for us. My friends all went onto it, but I had a health issue at the time, so I dropped out of the friend group not dropped out of the friend group, but dropped out of DayZ and Xbox altogether for a long time. And about a year later, I decided that I'd finally join the server because Grandpa had messaged me a few times saying, hey, well, this server's still here whenever you're ready. Thought I'd take him up on it, try the game once more, and that's when I fell in love with the game. Grandpa's server, so... My first real server was
Damn.
Grandpa's server, but the first server that I started was that hotel server that I can't remember the name of.
I must say, you two are both speaking very highly of this Grandpa dude. I actually hope he does jump in. I'd like to meet him. It sounds like a bit of a legend.
He'd be getting home anytime soon if he finished on time.
If he can't get in this
Yeah.
time, we're definitely gonna have him on the show.
Oh yeah, I'd like to. He
100%.
sounds you speaking very highly of him. Much respect. So that's good. What about you, Blackheart?
He kisses us gently.
Read your bedtime story before you log off.
My original home was official. I didn't know anything about community servers for the longest time, but if I had to go back to community servers, very first community server I ever played on would probably be the biggest toxic wasteland that I've ever experienced, which I loved it at the time, loved it, and it was Aggro. Aggro was a really good
Yeah.
server.
Fuck yeah.
It was a really good server. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the kill on site. I enjoyed the interactions, the very few interactions that you would get in that server. But it just, when it went from a no rules server to getting banned for doing stuff you've done in the server for years, that was my time to back out. And last I knew, I was no longer allowed there. So, I've never went back. I've been playing on their server since, which is Grandpa's server, and he seems to treat people the way they need to be treated. So if you come in with toxicity, you get treated with toxicity. If you come in and you want to play and you want to be the way it's supposed to be, the way the server's intended, then you're more than welcome. Like we
Yeah.
run a tight ship. Don't come in and be negative and expect to get positivity. You know, that's how it is.
Yeah.
That's it, and also set the standards for I suppose, the community server. Um, I've watched aggros basically go from a deathmatch server to multiple deathmatch servers under the full map, and I suppose it goes down to toxicity in Dayz sometimes go hand in hand. If you've heard of the server exclamation plus plus, and I'm sure a lot of us have, it's a 70
Yeah.
pop server,
Yes.
and yesterday it was running 22 queue on it. 70 pop full with a 22 player queue. I can't stream in that
Dang.
server because of what is said during the announcements
Oh, yeah.
over Cami Radio. The player interactions will get me banned straight away. But if you know exclamation plus plus, it is some of the best chaotic fun that you've ever had on Dayz. So
Yeah, 100%. And I think sometimes we need that outlet. We need that dirty server so that you can get on and just release that inner fucking
in a healthy way.
demon that we all
Oh.
have hidden inside
Oh.
in a healthy way.
Yeah,
In a
don't get me
healthy way.
wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Going from a no rules server to a rules server, that was rough for me. You know how hard it
Yeah.
was for me to point
Oh,
my gun
yeah.
at people and not shoot them?
Yeah.
It was rough.
Mm.
It was rough.
Yeah,
Like, I
we
joined
were
aggro
actually,
because it was toxic.
yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Well, I think we were talking about that last week or one of the podcasts. Is that when people go in and they have a successful server, and then all of a sudden, and they go in and they make some changes to the server, and it just changes the whole vibe and everything, and then it can actually cost a community, because that's why people initially joined it, was because of the way it is. Um, you know, if you've got a good thing going, sometimes you need to just leave it alone, leave it be, and let the locals, you know, have that server that they, want to come and join every day because they know what to
100%.
expect.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
There's been a
Yeah.
few times we've had someone join and just turn around and say, "Oh yeah, we want raid weekends," and I'm like, "Well, the 2,000 other people that are here don't, so you're gonna have to find somewhere
Yeah.
else that's got that. Like, we're a PvE server with PvP locations. If you want a PvP, go there. But no, we want to raid bases. Well, sorry, mate, we're not changing it for you."
Yeah, exactly. Because when you start tinkering to things, then it ruins the whole point of the server. But anyway,
that's it. Stick to your
them be
flavour.
my questions.
Stick to your flavour
Yep.
was what we came up with then. If you're going to get in your Discord and build something, stay with it. Otherwise,
Stay
close
with
it
it,
down
yeah.
and rebirth it. Don't try and
Yep,
change it.
yep.
Facts. Like, you can't expect people that's played on your server for years to just expect to look for rules when it was a no rules server. Like, I had done so many different things on that server that was not against the rules because there was no rules, and then out of nowhere my crew's getting banned because we did something that was apparently in the rules.
Yep.
Well, last I had ever seen, it was always popping up in the little bottom left corner that we all see, the little red message that pops up. It says no rules. Well, the only rule I would say that there was it popped up, it would say be as toxic as possible, no rules.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I guess people have their reasons for maybe,
I'm
putting in
changing it.
rules or what have you, changing it up. Yeah.
And sometimes public
But,
opinion can change that too. You know, you get the emphasis on the server. A lot of people are saying, hey, can we have this? Can we have this? You throw it up for the vote. There's always going to be somebody.
And as well, like, that server or any server, if it gets the attention of streamers, like you were talking about with exclamation plus plus, you can't stream on that. You can't stream on that server. Well, unless you don't have the capture card and no one can hear it, and then really, what's the point?
That's right.
Of streaming on there, because that's what makes
That's
it
what's
so
so
juicy.
good. That's it.
Yeah, but if a server does start getting the attention of streamers, and they want to play on there, sometimes the server owners will make that call where they'll say, all right, we're going to have to put some rules in so we can help these streamers out, and that might be no end bombs and and stuff like that. Just basically like with the Twitch ones, and the reason I use that example is I do know with ADKCue, we used to play on that a lot. No rules except for that one rule: no racism.
No racism.
Do whatever, whatever
Yeah.
else you want, because there was quite a few streamers that streamed on there, myself included,
Yep.
and it helped us out. It was a bit of a give and take, because we would run on there, promote it, get a lot of people on there, and it was a good time. But unfortunately, we'd have to cut the streams or lose our VODs if people were on the megaphones or whatever, screaming out
Just
N bombs over
blasting.
and over again.
That's it, just blasting.
Yeah. So sometimes there may be a reason, but they're my questions, boss. How'd I do?
Thank you. Excellent. All right, so now we're going to move on to our skill competition. Mr. ADKCue has set up an absolutely wicked comp for us. Q, do you want to run us through it?
Alright, so basically it's your standard build up a watchtower as high and as fast as you can.
We'll,
So you've got all your tools.
we'll show you all the
your tools
gear.
Set up for you.
Do you want to come this way?
It's just
All right.
Oh, you made this one Q, huh?
Bob's about to kick
Yeah.
my butt.
All
Is
right.
there any rules to
good.
this? Can I kill Blackheart and steal
Well,
his
you're
tower?
fired.
You can't kill anyone on the show till the outro. That's the rule. No killing until the outro. So we got one fence kit here. We got one fence kit here.
Oh, these look cool. I was thinking, what the fuck are these?
Yep.
Look how they're arranged.
So
They look really, really cool, don't they?
we could probably leave this one. Actually, we might get Smiley to get involved in this as well.
Smiley.
Smiley, we're gonna get you
Oh,
involved in this. Oh yeah, definitely.
no,
Yeah,
that sounds-
definitely.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
All right. Here is your pile of logs, and behind us in here is all your tools. You've got your nails, your hammers, your saws, your shovels, all your shit in all 4 tents.
Wait, so am I building a watchtower? Is that what I'm doing? I'm
Yep.
building a watchtower?
You're building a watchtower.
Fuck my life.
Yeah, that's all right. You can
I
use
get it,
chat. Chat can help you.
All right.
All right. So we'll get everyone to
watchtower.
stand inside your watchtower frame. So if you want to designate yourself a
Oh,
frame.
frame's already here?
Yeah, frames are ready to go.
Okay.
So you got one here. Yeah.
which one?
That's right here.
Okay. Can I phone a friend to come in just to help me? Can I
No,
put a
not
just for
not this
like-
time. Not this time. I got you trapped, lady. I got you trapped.
Okay, all right.
I got you trapped and have
Yeah.
to force you to do this shit. That's it.
I don't get paid enough.
Yeah, that's it.
Paid enough.
We get paid fucking,
don't get
squillions in
paid.
this joint. Squillions. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Halftime show. You will have 5 minutes to build as high and as tall as you can. The person with the biggest stage. will obviously win. If there's a tie, we will box it out.
Ooh, okay. All
That is
right, that
good.
sounds good. I like that.
All right.
Hey,
Mr. Q,
wait, out of curiosity,
you could say-
before we start,
Yep.
right, out of curiosity, does the tower have to be fully built?
No, so just
Okay.
the...
Can't
No,
be just
no, no,
fine.
no, no.
You have to do as much as you
Just-
can in 5 minutes.
Yeah, just basic, so you don't need to put the walls in.
Yep. So just poles, platform,
Oh,
poles, stairs.
okay. We're not doing the okay. we're
You'll
not-
have 5 minutes. I reckon you won't get past the second level.
Oh, really?
Where are we finding the
We
tools
shall
for this?
see.
Over in those
in
tents
the
on the
tents
far
over
side.
In the tents.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And the logs are right in front of you. There's a massive
Yeah.
pile of logs. All right, Q,
Okay.
All right,
you can take the starting
are we
gun.
ready? 3, 2, 1.
Ooh, 2 strategies going on here.
Sounds a bit
We
heavy for you,
are.
Smiley.
I've read the chats. Bagging you out.
Get fucked.
That's love.
I actually don't even. I
That's
can't even
love.
remember. It's been so long since I built a base. I can't even remember where the shit goes. Oh, there we go. I'm just whatever the things are coming up with. Attach here. The
Well,
radio.
that's why we put these basic skills in check. Because sometimes, as an owner, as a streamer, you don't get to get into these little nitty gritties of Dayz. So we like to put people under the
Yeah, but-
pressure.
That's right. To be honest, it's been months and months and months since I've even thought about building a watchtower.
Yeah, 100%. Like the other day, here I'm thinking 2 or 3 boxes to build a wall of nails. You only need one. Oh, we got poles up already.
Whoops.
Don't worry,
I'm
chat.
not
You can
digging
you can
worms.
help Smiley if need be. If you see she's doing something wrong, give her a yell out.
Come on. Build, damn it.
Hey, gotta go other side. Blackheart,
See, I
other
don't
side.
build.
That's it. Other side. Look the other way. Yep, that way. Got to be on the inside.
What?
4 poles.
Oh, more logs are.
I just... See, this is why I don't build.
That's all right. You got 4 logs on there.
Where do I put these?
No.
Smiley,
I had 4 logs.
Yeah,
Bob
yeah.
sabotage.
you might want to think about planks, Smiley. Planks.
Yes, that's it. We need some planks, Smiley. There's a planks.
Okay,
Planks next. Need to get the planks in after you get your poles,
Okay.
and then add your stairs, and then add more poles.
Okay,
Thanks again.
you need a hacksaw, Smiley, not a hatchet.
Oh, hacksaw.
That's
Okay.
it.
That's not logical.
That's it. Need a saw, not a hatchet. Saw. All right, so we're a minute 20 in. Doing well, doing very well.
Get out of it.
That's it. Remember we said there couldn't
That's
be
what
no
he's like.
violence? We said nothing about robbing people.
Well, like you said, it comes down to saw your planks and your
I
perimeter.
think we need a whole 2-hour halftime show for this.
That sounded so dirty, Q.
I know.
So your planks and your perimeter.
Bobby on fire here.
Touching with my hacksaw.
That's it. So nails down with planks for your next section, and then it's got to be more poles on top.
So to see who remembers what tool you need to use when you're putting the next set of poles in. That
Yep.
used to always screw me up.
Yep. The Schwein.
Trick is to just have all the tools on you and try them all.
That's it.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
All right, we've come up to the halfway point. No, you don't need walls, remember? Don't need walls. Walls not required.
Bit of an
Yeah.
interesting strategy there, Blackheart.
Hush.
That's it. It's the best part about the halftime show. It helps with the violence at the outro.
I like my stuff to look fancy, Bob.
That's it.
I can't help it. It's my ADHD.
Bob does look fancy.
Oh, it's got it
I have to
going
build
now.
some stairs, don't
Yep.
I?
But yes, we'd like to test our guests out.
How are we going for our time?
We'll give you the minute mark. So you got a minute 30 to go. We'll give the countdown. All right, 1 minute to go. 60 seconds. The final countdown. Do. That's a little inspiration for you.
Bob had an extreme advantage.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You built a lot.
That's the skills that goes in the Dayz. Oh,
Yeah, I know, right?
can she get it down? Could be a fight here if she gets these poles down and Bob can't get a roof on. "20 seconds to go. All right, on the countdown. 10, 9, 8,
Oh, come on.
7,
Just give me 6, like,
6, 6,
on.
6,
6.
6,
Six.
6, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, tools down. Tools down. Tools down.
So close.
Nah, he fucking doubled you. All right, to be honest.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry. You can't hear. You're breaking up. Your
Breaking
mic's
up.
not working.
Something wrong with my mic.
You need to... yeah, something's wrong with your mic, man.
Okay, so since she can't hear me, our winner is Bob.
Sabotage.
Oh, I didn't make it.
There may have been some
glitching all over the map.
sabotage there. We've got Smiley. She's got her logs up. She nearly got her last stage up. Nearly got her last stage.
Yeah.
Blackheart. He's actually added in a few of the extra walls. Beautiful.
It's for protection.
That's for protection. I would too. You got the local thief,
See,
which
like,
is
you
next
can't
door.
see me.
And that Bob guy. Look at this. Smashed it. Doubling everyone. So winner today, that Bob guy. Congratulations, bud. Taking out our halftime show.
Boo!
That's it. That's it.
That was so perfect. Wait, can I throw it? Wait, let me try this. Just stay there, Bob.
Yep, and
Stay there.
the crowd has officially put it number 1, that Bob guy. Number 2, Blackheart. Number 3 is Smiley.
Well,
That-
I appreciate that everyone said number 3 and not loser. Thank you. I'll take third.
That's it. Take
I mean, I'm
the
in the top 3.
Top
I'm in
three.
I'm in the top
that's
3.
it. Third out of the
I don't
top
know
10
who
is
it
not
was, but I
bad.
appreciate Warden going Bob in the chat. I appreciate that.
Ooh, I really want to say something right now. Hey. Okay. Never mind.
You good? You good? All right, we'll go back to the fire.
Yeah. I was just gonna say.
Here we go. Yeah, go say it. Go on. You want to say it? Go on.
That's what he says to all these women when they're giving him a blowy. Bob, Bob, Bob.
Oh, sugar. Ah, all right.
Bob, Bob, Bob.
But thank you for competing in our halftime show. That's where I didn't want it to go. All right, so we go on to playing and streaming the game. When it comes to stream snipers, or even the points of being an admin and trying to run in server and being watched, what's the best way to combat them? Blackheart, have you had an experience with stream snipers?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't believe. See, I try to give every human being the benefit of the doubt that they're not doing that to me. But you know, I the only real stream sniper experience I've had is something that I gave the community the option to do. You know, we did a PvP event on the Fresh Dayz server, and it was come kill the admins for Discord cash that you could use to purchase like trader tickets and stuff, you know, cars, guns, whatever you want to order. But I was streaming at the time, so what we did was we posted my stream with the announcement stating that there were admins in NWAF for everyone to come kill for money. So they had the biggest hint, and that was to watch me where I was at all times and have the advantage to shoot at me and know where I'm at and me not. So
Yep, that's we've had a couple of events where we had hunt the streamer or track us down. It definitely makes an event very fun. It definitely keeps the streamer's heart rate up super high and on the adrenaline all the time. That's probably where stream sniping, I suppose, has its benefit. You're not only interacting with your community, it gives the opportunity for the community to come out and see what you're about as a streamer, and it's also a lot of fun. I've done it a few times. I know when we did it with the console cult, Smiley in particular won that particular event because she spent most of the time just hiding in a bush looking at the ground. Like,
that's this guy.
No, I didn't. I kept you, but I did look at the ground the whole time.
yeah, like
I did.
the tactic is sound, 100% sound. Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Have you had an experience with maybe somebody tracking you down while you're trying to do your admin work, or being sniped when you're trying to do stuff? Bob?
I've not streamed to an audience before. I've only ever streamed on Twitch for friends and family, just showing them something. But the only time I can think of anything close to that, back in the Old West server that we used to have, which was all olden day guns and stuff like that, nothing modern.
Yep.
We had a bounty system, and for a little while there, I was the highest. I had the highest bounty on me, so if anybody could come across me and arrest me or kill me, they would get this bounty. And so whenever I'd go online, every 20 minutes or so, I'd send an update to where I was last seen. And so I occasionally had people tracking me, but I was never found. Nobody was able to keep up with me.
See, that's pretty cool, where you're being tracked by a bounty system.
Bob was last seen in Gorka.
That's it. It's one of those things that are good and bad. If the system's used right and the bounties are placed on well, it could be used to add a whole new element to the server. Sometimes the bounty systems are $1 and they're just using it to track you down to kill you. So yeah, definitely, I can see the comparisons between the bounty system and actually being live on server. I've had both placed on me. I know what that's like. So yeah, that's definitely a great example of. He just jumped in. He'd be behind me.
Yep.
The man, the myth, the legend's
Sorry
running
to
up
cut
on us
you
now.
off.
Hello, hello.
Oh, he's naked. Shh. Pretend he's not there until he gets dressed.
I'm not too late, am I?
No, you're not too late, my friend.
Oh, you can come in your undies. That's fine.
Well, that's it. We're about 2/3 away through the show, but as I said to the guys beforehand, we can always organise another. This is how they greet each other, by the way. This is get another show rolling where we can get you on.
Bob.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to be on a full one.
Yeah, 100%. We know what real life's like. It can always get in a bloody way. So, yep. Looks like Blackheart's getting rejected from the Love Fest. See, that's
Oh, no, there we go.
that's
There's
it.
Orch.
That's true server
This is
love
our
right
Dayz
there.
hug.
That's it. That's a Dayz hug.
This is our hug.
That's your animate. All right. So
Now you were spoken of very fondly before you joined Grandpa. So yeah, pleasure to meet you, man.
Thank you. Good to be here.
yeah, 100%, my friend.
Respect.
He's a great kisser.
That's what I
Oh,
said.
God.
Heard that you were a great kisser
With
too. All right. So another question with the game is what is the next survival item you would like to see in the game?
Like as in.
As you
I gotta
say,
say a bow.
whatever you like. A bow,
bow's
definitely.
I'd like to
Bad
see.
idea.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, Bo. Yeah, definitely.
I just recently saw with the bow Goblin's mod that he just put on Steam, where you can take a chicken will actually drop guts, and you can combine chicken guts and feathers, and make yourself a bow and arrow, and run around shooting people. It looked absolutely wicked. It's probably one of the biggest things I've always wanted in the game. So I definitely
He
get
did
you on
amazing
that.
with that.
He
Yeah, the chickens actually
wouldn't
drop
mind.
feathers.
Yep.
That wasn't actually possible on PC. I mean, it sounds so simple, right? It sounds like it should be a thing, but even PC, it wasn't actually doable. He actually made that happen. So now chickens actually drop feathers. So it's quite impressed.
He's a genius with the code.
Got a hard on over it. I'm just gonna say, got a bit hard over it.
So it might
I
not be
wouldn't
that
mind seeing a little temporary poncho.
like a little
Oh, yeah,
disposable rain poncho.
Yeah, a little disposable. Comes in a little pack like your heat packs, and
Yep.
you put it on and it goes over your outfit, and it only lasts a little while because it gets ripped easy, of course.
Yep. As they
Yeah,
always
keeps you-
do. Like
keeps
when
you
you're
dry
trying to
from
put
a
your
rain.
arm in it.
Yep.
Yeah. Or even an
And you can
improvised
get a garbage bag poncho.
yeah, or improvised poncho with the tarps.
Yep, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so there is definitely massive potential there.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe not so much survival-wise, but gunslings. I don't understand how the hell you could chuck a gun on your back without a sling on it.
Yeah, 100%. As in the attachment of the
That's a
gun.
good point.
Well, don't we all
Yeah.
have magnets on our back?
Yeah.
But yeah, the ability to not be able to shoulder a firearm until you get a gunsling for it. That'd be a game
Maybe
changer.
able to
Easily craftable.
Hold a third.
Well, it'd be pretty cool then too. Have that animation where you could actually, try and get someone's gun off their back too. How cool would that be? Go up. and try
Oh,
and
with a
pull it off
knife.
Someone.
Yeah, with a knife, just slice it off
Mhm.
rather
Do
than
like
tying
the
them up.
stealth. Yeah, you could do like, do the whole sneaky thing, the stealth, knife out, cut it, grab it, run. You gotta have to do it fast.
That's it. Cut it, pull it out, shoot them. That's what I'd be trying straight up. Same with the holsters and stuff. I wish you could draw guns out of holsters. Somebody else's holster.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Definitely. Lemons also said you should be able to craft flags and ropes into a backpack, similar to a burlap sack. I think
Oh
that
yeah, I've always thought that. Definitely.
just
Great
for
idea.
but just for also faction flags. Like imagine your crew rolling around, fully armed, ready to go PvP, and everyone's got a flag bag on. That would just be absolutely crazy.
That would be pretty wicked. Yes. But
Yeah,
the
well, that
armband's
meant to
not
say-
really enough.
Yeah, no, it's not, is it? And the crafting of shirts as well out of the flags would be wicked. But like Lemons has made a good point too with that stealth kill mechanic, to be able to do that on players. That would be wicked. You could sneak up behind someone and slit their throat. I mean, that should be a thing.
Oh yeah. Stealth kills
Facts.
themselves would be off its head. It'd be nuts. Or at least, maybe not kill him, maybe just instant knockout.
Yeah.
Because that would be
Yeah.
absolutely nuts. DM
They
tripped
need
the
to bring
mind.
in more knife-edge stuff.
Yeah,
Stuff
more.
that we can do with our knives, throw them at people and stuff.
Yeah, throwing knives would be cool. DM Tryptamine said some kind of varnish to fix your wooden attachments, because currently you can't, once they get damaged, get up and be fixed.
No, yeah, that would be good.
Sitting in there varnishing your guns up, making them look super pretty. Yeah, but the introduction of leather
I don't-
clothes, the full leather tanning mechanics back into the game, because you used to be able to do it. Does
It's
anyone?
weird. Why did they take it out?
It was too much work. You had to fill you basically had to fill a barrel with water, add lime to it, put your leathers in there. It would then sit for 24 hours, and then that would tan them, and then you could take them out and cut them up. That was the original formula. Now you just mix your lime with the leather hide, and that gives you leather, and that gives you the strip saw to make a bag. But that was the full mechanic. You had to get the barrel, fill it up with water, add the lime, let it sit, and then you could pull it out when it was ready.
I'd
It
like
still
to
sounds
see
pretty
more
cool.
night vision.
What about night
I'd
vision?
like to see different. I'd like to see different types of night vision, different types of rifle scopes, like a long-ranged rifle scope for a Mosin or a long-ranged rifle scope for SVD. Different scopes for the Tundra. Some that you could put on there that would be night vision, but a better type of night vision. You got farther range with it. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see an actual suppressor for a Tundra.
Yeah, an
things
actual
like that,
a
like
rifle
that.
suppressor.
Yep.
Something that lasts
Like
longer than
that.
2
A choke
shots.
for a shotgun. Attachments for weapons like slings, like he was talking about, muzzle brakes for the shotguns, chokes for the shotguns, suppressors for Tundras, more accessories such as scopes. That'd be my dream for that.
But
yeah.
definitely bows and crossbows.
I agree.
Yeah, crafting gun accessories is another one that's been put up. Dyeing colours is another one that's been put up.
Maybe even making more ammo for yourself, being able to keep your brass casings and remaking ammo.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, you could definitely.
Another thing you can do in Fallout 76. Let's all go play Fallout 76. It's all in there.
And that's it.
Just saying.
And no, you make up a good point. There are some elements out of games that you'd love to see in this game, and there's some elements in this game you'd love to see in other games, and there's not quite the game that suits that exact genre, and it's funny we all congregate to this one.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? There are actually games out there that have all this stuff that we talk about, and yet we play Daisy. So there's something here that keeps us. Something Daisy's got that's very unique from everything else. It might not have all the bells and whistles. It might not have much that you can craft or do whatever, but there's something about it that otherwise we wouldn't be spending our lives living in it.
That's it, and we do. All right, we'll move on to looks like our last question. Yep. No, our second last question. When looking for at servers, is slot size more important than the pop level? So if you've got a high pop 20, is that more appealing than a low pop 70?
I definitely say pop over slots.
So you pick a server more over the high and full slot rather than actually looking at whatever the slots are.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, nice.
definitely. I'd rather play on a full 32 slot than a 50 slot. It's only around medium pop all the time.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'd have to say I'd
Interesting.
agree.
Why is that?
I'd much prefer.
Right.
I don't know. I'd much prefer to play in a server
Is
like
it a mind thing?
you have a 70 slots server and you've only got 4 people in it. You're never going to come across any of them. You're never going to have any laughs with them because they're probably on the other side of the map. You'll never find them. I'd much rather join a 20 slot server that's almost full because there's a lot better chance of finding them. But, you know, best of both worlds, a 70 slot server that's got 70 people in it, great.
Yeah, but what we're saying, like, how, like, okay, you got a 50 slot that's half full. That's say 20 people, or you've got a 20 slot that's full. Well, that's 20 people. Same map, same chance of bumping into people.
Yep, this is the conundrum
Well,
that's
to
what
me.
I was sort of looking at.
Yeah.
Which one is the appeal?
Well, yeah,
Mine
that wouldn't
thinks-
make any difference. It wouldn't make any
Yeah,
difference to
it's-
me. If they're
Yeah,
both
to
20,
me,
I'd join.
to me, it would come down to what the server has to offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the actual rundown of the server affects the decision of whether it's like if you saw a hardcore on low pop, you're like, well, that's a hardcore. Of course, it's going to be low pop. It's not that popular. Whereas if you add a death match where it's, you know, a 20 person death match at say Riffy, or you know a smaller town like Cami, where it's a lot more combined, you're going to get a lot better PvP action. Where a 50 slotter at Cami is going to be a lot of people concentrated in a small area. Is that what you mean by
Right.
depending on the server?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly how I sort of roll my choices when I come to community servers. Blackheart, do you have anything to add to that?
When I join servers, I don't really care for the population. To me, sometimes running around on a dead server or servers that are empty, wouldn't necessarily say dead, but you know, if they say low population, to me, that's more loot for me. You know, more stuff I can go through and look at until someone does get on. I mean, sometimes just walking around in a slow server is what you need versus, like you said, being put in a situation where there's 70 people inside a cami. I wouldn't want that. Like sometimes I'll join a low server PvP because I want a laid back type of PvP. I want to sit back and snipe. I want to barely see people, but I want to see people, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's sometimes it's like you'll see a server that has a whole bunch of popping, you know, you're really wanting to get into, like we call it, the shits, you know, like you're really wanting to get into the action. You're wanting to go in there and you're wanting to see a bunch of people. So that's when I would look for a high population server. But if I was to join a server and it's, say, Zevergrad, and I go in there and it was a high pop and I look at it and it's only 10 people in there or 15 people, then I'm probably going to leave because that's not what I'm looking for. But if I go in there and there's 40, 50 people in there and it's high pop, then that's where I am going to stay. I'm going to enjoy my time there.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it depends, like you're saying. Basically, it depends on your vibe, like that at that moment,
Yep,
like what you want out of it.
and also what you expect from the server too. Server expectation can sometimes be blurred to either from the ads or from what's been, the hearsay you hear. So server expectation is sometimes one of the things you jump into expecting, a smooth running PvP situation, and it's just a bunch of lag. So definitely, definitely some good points there.
Oi, there's some locals on mine that would really dig to be sniped. You're welcome to go and snipe them anytime you like.
She's setting
They're
up
getting
people.
way too comfortable on there. They're way too
Ad
fucking
Salem,
comfortable.
welcome. Thank you for the raid.
Dude.
Welcome to the podcast, bud. We'll definitely have to get you
Where?
on here in the console role.
Have
Love
y'all-
to get you on the podcast.
Have y'all
DM
heard
you
of
later.
Nitrado basing like hardware specs on how many slots you have? Because I thought it was the same no matter what.
No, it's set like the. From what I see and from what I see out in the network, the old rule of thumb was a 32 slot was the optimate PvP server. Any bigger than that, then the hardware couldn't handle that. But the 50s and the 70 slots do get a better hardware profile than the smaller servers. So depending on
So
your
Nitrado does give them extra stuff.
yep, it's not like the Minecraft side of it in Nitrado where you can upgrade the memory, you can pay to upgrade the memory, the CPU speed, you can upgrade a lot of the things on the computer. It's more of a fact of a set. Anything over a 50 is pretty rough. Everything above that is no man's land. Yeah. But it's still, you do get a different hardware setup. It just can't take it over 32 slots from my experience and from what I've seen. 50, I
Right.
mean,
Oh.
I've seen servers, unless you adjust on something, if you're going a 100 slot deathmatch server that's, completely chockers with bases and stuff like that, it'll totally destroy it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a
never
32
played on a
slot
50.
for our Chinaris, and it's usually hits full quite often. But I think as far as lag and things, we just don't experience as much as we used to when we had a 50 slot.
Yeah. You want to say
Yeah.
anything?
Oh, actually, just quickly before
Yeah.
you go to the next question, just a little shout out to Ad Salem for the raid, but also because he's an absolute legend. TikTok. If you guys, anyone who's in TikTok land would know who Ad Salem is. My God, his Dayz TikToks are freaking amazing.
That's
He's
it.
getting into streaming.
Get on your
more-
show.
more-
Get on
more
the
often
show.
now. So, yeah, come on the show, Ed Salem. You gotta get on here. I'd like to see him actually, his whole crew, on here. I think we talked about that. Actually, we only just talked about that last week, wasn't it? Or having them on here would be amazing. I think it'd be a good time. So anyway, much love to Ed Salem and his gang.
And Mr. Caboose coming in with a raid at the end there. Okay, so for
Ooh, another
our
legend.
final question that we'd like to lay to all our guests is freshies. Are they new friends or are they a dangerous enemy?
I know in our friend group, I am always the first one to put my gun away and approach a freshie, or sit in the middle of a street yelling out to someone to make friends or something. However, a silent freshie is a scary freshie to me. If I can't hear what they're thinking or what they're doing, then that scares me, and maybe I'd be less inclined to be friends with them because they might shoot me.
when I play official or a PvP server, I don't trust anyone that's not already in my Xbox party. And that's just the way it is. My YouTube can prove that.
That's funny. That. What
I
about
trust zero freshies.
you? Zero
Zero.
freshies.
See, I'm the only one in the group that'll run up to a fresh and go, "Hey, mate," and get shot in the teeth.
See, I'm that person
Yeah,
in the group
I-
that has
I-
thrown his
what I say.
controller for getting beat by a can of beans by a freshie. So I'm good. Yeah, no freshie is friends with me. Nope. No. Like, I won't shoot a freshie if I don't really have to. So like if I could tell him, hey bro, no offense, but you're gonna have to go somewhere, and they go that place, I mean, I guess I'm cool with that. Like later on, they won't be a freshie, and I can kill them then, or they can kill me. It's part of the game. But when it comes down to, am I gonna let a freshie really be my friend? No, I've been the experiencing end of a can of beans way too many times.
Nothing wrong with mule and a good freshie all the way to Northwestern Airfield and then putting a bullet in their head and dividing the gear up with yourself.
Oh, thanks, Lemons. Yeah, thanks, Lemons.
There's a
Especially that one
Dayz
smiley.
rap. There's a Dayz rap on YouTube. It's called Mistaken Friendship. That's the exact definition of what you just said.
Mistaken friendship. The Mullen process. The Mullen process. Well, that's all our time for. As I said,
Yes, you can now.
before we kick off, we'd like to thank everybody for coming out.
Time to
Grandpa Oak will definitely have to get you onto a podcast where we can sit down for the full hour and roll through. If I was you, I would probably go into that car down there and get yourself a gun because they're about to unload. Blackheart, thank you for coming to the podcast, and that Bob guy, we do appreciate you. This is the outro.
We
All,
get to unload.
all we have to do is not kill Greedy.
upload all
You
over
can
them.
you can kill whoever you want.
All over them?
That's it.
Right in the face?
But I appreciate you
Yeah, we
coming,
get to
and
upload on
thank you to
that.
our co-hosts. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our podcast done and dusted. Once again, an absolutely fantastic
I can't
show.
pull my guns